Hello, friends. This is Chris Orwig from Santa Barbara, California, and I am super excited to be going live here today. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about authentic portraits, and I'm going to capture some photographs of my kids. And the whole idea is to try to share some inspiration for how we can still capture and create while we are in our current situation of shelter in place and quarantine and all of that. So what I wanted to do is kick all of this off with a few slides because I always like visuals and I find it's helpful to sort of set the structure for what we're going to do. I'll go through those slides and then my kids are going to show up. They're almost here. Actually, my daughter is here, so maybe she's going to come in and be part of this for a second. This is Elsie here. And Elsie is, do you want to tell them how old you are?
8.
She's 8 years old. And and there are a couple others. I have 3 daughters. So what we're going to do here is go through some slides. So I'll go over to my slide deck here. And as I mentioned, this one's about capturing authentic portraits. And a little bit about me in case you aren't familiar. I'm a photographer, an author, and teacher. And you can find me online, just my name, Chris Orwig, and then also on Instagram, chrisorwig.com. I have a new book out, which is on the screen there, and Elsie is in this book, which is very important. So, and I'm really proud of this one. It's called Authentic Portraits. And the fun thing about the book is that it really came from doing a class in CreativeLive called Authentic Portraits. So that really ignited the idea. I'm a Sony Artisan of Imagery, which is a huge honor with other colleagues and friends like Chris Burkhardt, Colby Brown, Carolyn Jensen, Brian Smith, Ben Moon, Brooke Shaden, and others. So really honored to be part of that crew. And I have a chance to capture photographs, or had a chance, of people like Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. There she is. Also photographed people like Daniel Norris here. He is a pitcher for the Detroit Tigers and a great guy. Here he is standing tall. And I do a lot of editorial, commercial, and personal portraiture. All right. I'm also a family guy, and here you can see me with my family and also our dog, Daisy. So I love taking family photographs. And I have a course on CreativeLive called Capturing Authentic Family Photographs. And that's something I just love doing because it's so much fun. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I've had a chance to photograph celebrities, and whether it's a celebrity, Elsie's making funny faces right now. All this stuff is so fun. Or a friend or world champion surfer. My kids are making fun of me a lot. Or someone I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm always looking for kind of authenticity. So during this time of shelter in place, how do we capture authentic portraits? 3 things I want to talk about: vision, voice, and style, working with light, and then connecting and directing. So when it comes to vision, voice, and style, a lot of that for me is all about having an idea before you capture the image, what you want to create. Right, Elsie? You got to have an idea. And to remember that because the art and craft of photography always involves a process. And you want to click the button now so you can go to the next one. Yeah, there you go. And stay right there for a second. So this one is a photo from a way back, but of Rob Machado. First he's goofy, and then he's laughing, and then click the next button, and you'll see the final picture. And you only really get to the final picture if you have that vision, like this is where I want to go with this. Maybe do the next one too, also you can click that. Another example of that, I'll push right there, and then you can click. And then here's a sequence of images kind of showing a process of photographing a friend, amazing photographer, filmmaker, Ben Moon. He was recently interviewed by Chase, and that was a great podcast interview. But anyway, you can see kind of that progression of how he started, how he got a little bit closer, and then finally even better. And that's just natural light. He's just standing in front of a piece of foam core inside of a doorway. Because he's a little bit in the doorway, his cheeks are a little bit shaded, and so that created more dimension. So again, just keeping in mind that there's that process. All right, want to do the next one? There's kind of that. Which one do you like better, Elsie? That one, or that one?
That one.
You like that, the brick one? Okay. I like that one better. And then, you know who that is. Who's that?
Izzy.
Izzy, yeah. She's one of your classmates. So again, family photographs, there's always a process, you know, where you start. It's a big jumble, and then where you want to get to, and one more click for me. Who's that?
My friend Gwenny.
Yeah, that's Gwenny. And when this image, I love that one too. When this one was used for CreativeLive to advertise my course, Capturing Authentic Portraits, someone wrote on social media that this is how I feel when vegan ice cream goes on sale. And I thought that was funny because so much joy. All right.
Oh
no. My daughters in the background are dying because they're making fun of me so much. And then another photograph, keep going, more family photographs, more family. Just remembering that all of those, there's always a process. You can go to the next one, it's fine. And so getting yourself through the process really is about having that vision, voice, and style in mind. And so one way to do that I found at least, you can click the next one, is to begin with big picture, like what is it that we want to create? And then next one, get really specific. So one way I like to do that is with words. And so in this case, finding a photograph that you like, and who's that in that picture, Else?
Gwenny and Sarah.
Yeah, and who's Gwenny?
My best friend.
Yeah, and finding a picture you like or one of your own, and just saying, well, hey, what is it that you're going for? And here you can see a lot of different adjectives: nostalgic, authentic, rustic, formal, casual, quirky, connected, raw. And then next button, kind of distilling it and getting it down to the core of what it is, and eventually having this idea, this vision. These are the kind of photographs that I want to create. And so with that in mind, we're going to go outside and we're going to shoot some photographs. We're going to talk about working with lights, connecting and directing. My kids are going to make fun of me, but all in all, we are going to have a good time. There's Sophie, and then here comes Annie. And so what I'm going to do is take this off this little stand here.
Can someone how to flip it?
Yeah, let me just do this real quick. We're going to flip this around. You can hold that. And that little cabin there is my office. And basically I have this stand with Tether Tools D-Tap power to power my laptop. I'm going to be shooting tethered and maybe shoot with lights. And natural light, we'll kind of see what the light does for us. But we have this field behind our house. I know everyone doesn't have that, but the idea is to go somewhere natural. And so we're going to head out there. And I like to work on location whenever I can, so that helps out a lot. And I've decided in this time of quarantine and all that, that I'm going to try to do more tethered work because it's a great feedback mechanism. And usually I don't do that, but now I'm kind of doing that to try to add more intentionality to my process. So I'm just going to fire this up, and also I am connecting. Out.
You got it with your toe. Yeah, I got it with your toe. I mean with my toe.
So basically, I just am taking took a photograph of the ground. That doesn't really matter because I want to make sure that my camera's connected there so you guys can see that. And what I have as far as my settings, I'm going to go to aperture priority and shoot pretty wide open. The sun should be setting over that way, but it's cloudy. And I was hoping for a lot of raking, beautiful backlight, but instead we don't have that. So we're going to shoot with that illuminating Elsie here on this little ladder. I think I got it someone's throwing it away or something on the side of the road. And back to my settings, let me just talk a little bit about those. So like I said, I'm going to shoot wide open, maybe 1.4, and I'm shooting with an 85 millimeter focal length lens, a 85 G Master, and then the Sony A7R IV. And that's kind of my camera of choice in this combination. You love this camera too, right, Elsie?
Yeah.
Okay. So Elsie, if you're just sitting right there, you don't really have to do anything yet, just like that. And what I like to do when I'm shooting is take sort of a warm-up shot just to make sure everything's working. And Elsie, you look so great. And so my vision for this is just a natural, obviously kind of organic photograph. I don't need it to be too posed or too anything. But your feet right there, look towards Sophie. And then, Sophie, will you tell Elsie something that you like about her?
I love your
She does have nice hair.
Look back towards me, Elsie. Yeah, just like that. Yeah. Let me make sure this is coming up so you guys can see what we have here. Really fun. And so when you're photographing family members, it's always a little awkward and different because you have to try to convince them to take part. And so the way I convince these guys,
I'm not totally. It says like there's like this on the volume thing.
Okay.
I don't know if they can hear you or not.
Okay, let's check here.
I just wanted to make sure.
That's a good point. Let's see. Maybe. Here.
Oh,
point the camera.
they said we can hear you.
We can hear me. Good. And we have that was the whole thing.
They're like.
I have my wife's phone in my pocket, so that's our emergency happens. So they can call me here.
Okay, cool.
All right. So the vision just something natural and fun. And Elsie, you look great. Point your knees towards Soph. Yeah, just like that. Put your feet on the top step. Yeah, and then turn back towards me. And then if you would, actually point your knees that way. Yeah. And then Sophie, will you go fix her hair for me? Put it right behind your ear. On the other side this way. And will you stand right behind her? Yeah. Yeah. One more. And then Elsie grabs her arm there like you were doing. You close your eyes for a second. And then look back towards me. Awesome, you guys. You want to go on the big ladder?
We should like jump off it or something.
So wait, before we do that, let's do one. This is so tippy. But Sophie, I think if you stand next to her, she could stand on top of it and you could kind of balance her and put her. So you guys it'll be a picture of you guys together. Actually, we could do one just of Elsie if you can balance her. Okay, just be careful because it is a little. Okay, now put your hands on your hips. Yeah, just like that. So fun. Okay, now Sophie, you go in there and put your arm around your sister. Actually, you go down one step, Elle. Okay, yeah, I like that. Okay, that's fun. You always got to make the younger kids. And then Elsie, you put your arm on her arm. Yeah, like that. Hold that for a second. Hold that.
Oh my gosh. Oh
No.
no.
I'm doing this ladder over here. Let's do this one. Try this ladder. Just standing right there, just like you are, right there. Actually, yeah, like that's cool. And then what I'm noticing here, wait, look towards me, and I don't know if you guys can see this on the picture, but her eyes are a little bit kind of like raccoon eyes because they're too shadowed. Not your fault. You're not a raccoon. But
Dang it.
What I need to do, I need to come over this way now. Yeah, look towards me here, and then just like that, like a pro. And then I'm gonna use exposure compensation, brighten the image up a little bit more. I get some of the flowers in the shot, watching the background, the horizon line, and then look towards the sunset over that way. Yeah, not quite that far. A little, yeah, like right there, right there. Hold that right there. And you can see the picture. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or cut to that, but when she's looking at the sun, it looks so much better. So I'm going to move my little feather table around. Eventually, I want to get one of those air direct remotes so I can just shoot wirelessly. But right now, I'm making the best of it. So yeah, look right towards me. Yeah, that's awesome, Elsie. I love it. Now let's do this, Elsie. Will you climb off the ladder? And will you come over to the flowers over this way? Away from the ladder a little bit? Yeah, like right there, right there, right there. Okay. And then Sophie, do you mind moving the table if I need it? It's okay right now, but yeah, just like that. Also, it's amazing. And then hold that real quick.
You can see a little more. So you know what's funny? I can actually see it.
No?
Stand up for one. I just want to do a comparison. That was got. Let me see. One at F24. So just stand there, just kind of natural. Look towards me, yeah. And just a normal smile. Relax. There we go.
You know what's funny? See where Elsie ran into the lemon tree on her head.
Oh, yeah, you can see that scratch. Okay,
It's a good little scratch.
And then there's a flower right in front of you. Can you scoot forward and scoot that down a little bit? Oh, there we go. Scoot forward. Yeah. Right there, yeah. Just like that. Go up but even because there is a field and the pattern kind of goes on forever, even that is kind of fun. Elsie, you've been so awesome doing this, and we're getting a little bit of sunset. So what I want to do is try to backlight something. So Elsie, you're going to stay there. Sophie, you and I are going to walk over on the other side of her.
Do I need to hold this on?
It should stay on there, but if we just walk this way, it's all kind of clamped down. And so
I just realized I was
sunset.
humming.
This happens where the sun gets right below the clouds, so that's what I'm doing. Yeah. All right, let's try right here. Let's just stop right here. And then Elsie, will you look toward?
Oh.
Wait, Elsie, will you hold that up? Make sure your statue. Hold that. Okay, that's great. Wait, keep holding that. Keep holding that. Keep holding that. This is a beautiful, amazing picture, Elsie. Hold that. Okay, then what I'm gonna do, I'll hold it. Pick some flowers and hold them in your hand.
Or that one.
And okay, so I don't know if we can see that picture. Oh, the sun's coming.
Go.
So good right now. No, you're fine. Yeah, hold that just like you are, Elf. Just like that. Okay, hold those. Hold those just like that. Just a second. Now, oh, you're so cute, Elsie. Elsie, wait, is your tooth still wiggly? This one? Let me get one last picture of it before it falls out. Oh, I just stepped on my cord, so...
Oh no! It's like a dad joke and you didn't even mean it. Oh, you're missing a moment, Dad!
Make sure. 1 second, you guys. 1 second. Okay, Elsie, look back towards me. Okay, hold that for a second. That's perfect. Okay, now hold your flowers in front of you. Now, Elsie, wait, just be quiet.
Sorry.
Elsie, hold them in front of you. Close, okay. And hold them in. Keep your eyes closed. And look back towards me. Now, what is your favorite thing? Wait, yeah, you just like turn one shoulder towards me a little bit. Good. What is your favorite thing about sheltering in place?
I like it to be with my family and my dog.
And your dog. Yeah. And look right towards me. And tell, what do you love about your dog, Daisy?
She's like me.
You do this, turn your feet towards Annie.
Yay!
And then, actually,
Point them right towards me.
And then look back towards me. Just hold that just for a second. What is your least favorite thing about quarantine in place?
I don't get to do it.
Yeah. Hear all the birds?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Sophie, let's do a picture of you.
Sophie,
actually, should we do Annie next? Or
Yeah,
Sophie?
do Annie.
Okay.
Sophie,
Ooh.
you're gonna
Elsie, do you want to film? Or Sophie, do you want to film?
I'll film.
Okay. Elsie,
Yeah,
you
let's
film.
do it, Alice. Okay.
Sophie, while they're getting
Make sure your finger doesn't go over it.
Okay, I'll try.
The little camera thing is right there.
Oh.
So you know, like, see how...
Yeah. I gave the computer in it.
Are you into it?
Nope. See him popping up.
Close your eyes, take a breath for a second.
Very
really
shaky.
pretty. No fun allowed.
Do a frowny face.
Hold that.
Oh, the sun's coming.
All right, Elsie, how are you doing filming?
Good.
And let's see if these pictures are coming.
The whole ranch.
Let's do one more little happy. Let's do it on the ladder. Let's get you up a little higher.
Can I stand on it?
Yeah.
Should I bring the bouquet?
Let me hand that to Annie. So I was talking to the camera. One of the things that when the sun is getting low, you can get a lower camera
You gotta
angle.
put it on it. He's talking. He's
Yeah, okay,
talking.
just stay right there.
Point
Just
it right
there.
at him because he's talking right now. Talking to him.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm getting so
Yeah,
good now.
just like that. Hold that. Now look off at Montecito Peak, Sophie. Yeah. Yeah, so awesome.
It's so awesome.
Now talk at me. Hold that. And I'm gonna try one thing. You got to stay there for a second. I'm gonna change my f-stop to f16. Not that you care, Soph, and the reason I'm doing that is so I can get a little sunburst effect. But see if we can't get one of those. Or depth in the background. Look towards me, Soph. Yeah. Yeah, and just going for a really, and then hold that. Keep holding that. Going for a really soft.
She's holding this.
Beautiful look. And then Annie.
And
Elsie, do you mind coming? You come over by me so we can see a video of Soph.
okay.
Do you mind bringing my computer a little bit further this way?
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Are you having fun filming it? Can you see her in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Without
great.
shadow.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's all shadow. That's fine.
I'm ditching the both of you guys.
Okay, now Soph, look towards me. And then Sophie, take a breath. Is Sienna watching this, you think so?
I don't think so.
Okay. Holding that, keep holding that.
Oh, what's that little thing? What's that little blue dot on the camera?
Sophie, right back towards me.
Look at Dad.
Yeah, look at Dad over here. Right back towards me, Soph.
And Sophie.
And one right at me.
Then one right at him. And
Right
then
there. Hold that,
right
Soph. Hold
that.
And then I just realized I just made a rookie mistake. You can come towards me, Elsie.
I'm coming
Or no, you can just look at me. You can just,
Point the camera
at me.
Here, I'll help you out.
It's okay. Well, I made a mistake that I left my ISO up too high because I had changed it for doing this kind of a sunburst type thing. That didn't really work, and so now I have to change it back. So I'm gonna keep shooting,
Chicken.
and then And then
You're
you have that
smelly.
right there.
You have chicken.
Yeah, just like that, Sophia. It's so awesome. Now, wait, Annie, look at the pictures coming up and tell me how Sophie looks in them.
I see him.
Yeah, you can watch.
She looks a little bit shadowed out. Like the background is all white. My fan is on you also.
A little bit brighter. Okay, yeah.
I don't know if that's
But
what
how
you're going
cute
for.
does Sophie look?
Oh, she looks so cute.
Aw.
Okay, almost there, you guys. You know what, right now, it seems like no one.
He's crazy.
Okay, ready, Soph? Look towards me. Look towards me, Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
Right at me. Okay. Now Annie's turn. All right. So Sophie, you film,
Here you go.
and then Annie. Why don't you? Let's go over by the ladder just for the fun of it, and maybe up one round, yeah. And then part of what I'm doing, is if you have a ladder or seat or anything, it gives people something to do rather than just stand there, and so that's why we're doing this. All right, Annie, just like that. That's cool.
What do you want me to do?
I think that's really cool. What do you think, Soph? Do you like that?
Yeah. I can't see her very well in this. Is that fine?
Yeah, you could go to another side if you feel like you could see her better. And then Annie, I like how you had 1 foot up. And you can also film both of us. Yeah, just like that. That looks fun. Just like that. I think that looks great. Annie, hold that. Hold that. I'm going to get a little closer. 1 second. Okay, just hold that. And just fix that hair out of your eye. There we go. Now, Elsie, come over here for me. I need your help. No, stay there, stay there.
Picking some flowers for Mom.
I'm so glad we got a sunset, you guys.
I know.
I brought some other lights to use, but I don't think we need to now. Elsie, you come over here.
Okay.
And you tell Annie something that you like about her.
Wait, maybe not in the picture.
You can tell her from this.
I like that you have a good fashion thing.
Fashion sense?
You have a good fashion thing. Now look back towards me, Annie. Look back towards me. Yeah. And now look off at Montecito Peak. Here, look at that.
So there.
Do a trapeze.
Oh yeah.
You play. Sometimes. All the time.
Here, Elsie, you shoot a little bit.
Yeah, I was looking.
And then look back towards me. Right, just for a second. Hold right there, right there. Hold that. Hold that. Just hold that.
Annie.
Now stay there. Now Elsie, you go get in right next to her, in front of her there. Or actually, maybe you'll be on the ladder and she'll be low.
Okay. I'm coming.
Your phone is like
Doing okay?
exhaling air.
Is it? Okay.
I don't know what that means. It's like
I'm gonna check this one to make sure.
the phone is breathing. Ow.
For a second. Thank you for joining us, you guys. If you're just kind of tuning in, we're talking about capturing portraits of kids. My name's Chris Orwig, and we're in a field behind my house. And it's okay, you can talk. And we're just kind of goofing around, having fun. I'll talk about the photo shoot afterwards, and we'll pull up some images in Lightroom and kind of deconstruct the process that we have here. So yeah, Elsie, you stay there, and you squish in. Okay. Yeah, that's fine, just like that. And then, Elsie, can you bring the flowers in closer? Or will you fall? Yeah, bring those in. And then like you're hugging each other. Yeah, just like that. Hold that. Hold that for a second. Hold that. 1 minute. 1 minute right there. Now after that big hug, look back towards me and just smile. Okay, well, that was amazing. All right, so now that we have done all of this,
We're done.
we're not
yet.
We're so close. We've done so many great things here. Elsie, let's do some with your bundle of flowers. And let's do those. Annie, will you go get that small ladder? It's over there.
Oh, yeah.
You pick some more flowers.
Picking them for Mama.
And let's go over to the bridge, Else. Sophie, you can come follow me on this.
Coyote Poop Bridge.
On the coyote.
Excuse me. So, I'll see.
Ow. Didn't up on that one.
All right.
Oh,
And if you just set it right here for me. And
Where should I stand?
I'm going to have you sit on that one again with the backlight.
Right here?
Yeah.
And
And so basically what I'm doing is going to an area where the plants are lower and still taking advantage of the sun as it's dropping down. I should point out that when you're shooting into the sun like I'm doing, you really want to shoot mirrorless, otherwise you can fry your eyes. And so when I'm looking at the sun, I'm seeing it on the electric viewfinder. I'm not ever staring straight in the sun. So that's super important if you're going to shoot backlight and you want to create this kind of a look.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to film, Manny?
what's that?
We like eyeballs.
We like eyeballs, yeah. Yeah, just like that, El. Holding that like you have. And then, Elsie, will you lay those, stay just like you are, and kind of lay them on your lap. Maybe with both hands though so we can see them. Put one hand underneath them. Yeah, like that. That's fun. And then put your knees, point them a little bit, up one step. Yeah, just like that. And then hold that for a second. Gotta get my camera setting right.
Let me get this so I can hear him.
And then lay them back down, just like you did. Oh, that's kind of fun. Lay them back down though now. Yeah, just like that. And then look towards, you knew where to look towards. So look back towards me, Elsie.
yeah, flowers. Can you take your shoulders back a little bit?
There, now, put your flowers down. You do it, Elsie. Gotta tell you something.
Down. Wait, put them down.
How about if we do one with Sophie and Elsie here? Sophie, you grab the flowers. You can sit on your lap. Would that be...
Me on Elsie?
No. Yeah, let's try that.
Let's try.
There we go. That's fine. Look back towards me, Elsie.
Oh, there's an airplane.
Or look away from me. I mean, whatever you... Yeah, watch.
I know.
Do you see it changing in there?
Yeah.
Now, Elsie, will you put your hands on Sophie? Can you kind of like hold, like she has her...
hands on my
Yeah, well, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
These kind of look like awkward prom photos a little bit.
You called it. Okay. Let's try something different. Okay, Sophie, you stay sitting. Elsie, you hop out. You were kind of done. You're all finished. Let's do,
Bring them back.
and then, Elsie,
Yeah.
will you stand over there for a second? Will you do one where you're standing like this? Look towards me. Your arm on her.
Okay, like a little.
Well, it's third grade, so.
Fun when you're... Okay. Give me a second here, guys. Almost there. Now, Elsie, will you tell Soph something you like about her?
I like braces.
You like...
my braces.
What? You pulled them off.
Now wrap your arm around her. Put your arm around her, like so it goes like this. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah. So just like that, like your buddies. Hold that, just like that. Yeah, just like that. Hold that, you guys. Hold that. Yeah, these. Don't move. Hold that. Wait a second. Don't move. Okay,
I
Elsie.
get 35.
Elsie, you did a great job.
What?
Okay.
Okay, now I think we need more Annie in there. So, Sophie.
Oh,
Actually, let's do one of just you, Sophie.
I'm gonna sit in
Yeah.
the grass.
Just sitting. Yeah, why don't you stand up? Why don't you stand up? Just
Sophie, bring the flowers to me when you're done.
hold the flag. Yeah,
Dude,
just hold that.
bring the flowers to me when you're done. Okay.
Oh, I stepped on the spiky thing.
Now bring him closer to you.
Now.
Yeah, like that. And a little bit lower.
Oh my God.
You smile?
A little bit lower. A little bit lower. And you can, now hint of a smile. More, a little more than that. Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. Now let's trade and have Annie do that too.
Bring my flowers back.
And
With the flowers?
Sophie, maybe point the camera towards me. The light is so amazing right now, so it's hard to not keep shooting while the sun is going down. And then, Sophie, show a picture of Elsie over there on the ladder. I think I need to get a picture of that over there. My exposure's a little over. When I shoot directly into the sun, I'm always overexposing. So I'm using,
Your fingers are
in this case, aperture priority and exposure compensation. Annie, just stay just like that in order to brighten up the subject. Yeah, Annie, looking towards her like that is cool. And then Annie, or then Sophie, why don't you say something you like about Annie?
I like that you let me steal all your clothes.
Yeah, and what else?
Also, it makes your eyes a little bit like opener. I don't know if that makes sense.
Make my eyes opener?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what if you turn your knees towards Sophie? Yeah, like that. Just like that. That's cool. One foot up, just like that's great. Stay there and the composition. Just stay right there. I'm just going to clear off the little path.
Okay. Should I be sitting up straighter?
No, I think the way you're sitting is really good. It's natural. She looks great, doesn't she, Soph?
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me?
I think we can hear you.
You're being pretty loud over there.
You look so cute.
Okay, now let's go back towards me. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Now look towards Montecito Peak for one. Now back towards me.
Whoa, these are helicopters.
Now close your eyes, take a breath.
Daddy, they're helicopters going. Guys.
Elsie.
You found some helicopter flowers?
Oh, no
right.
way. Score.
That's great. Okay, Annie, now we're going to try one more thing, a little more kind of side, like green in the background versus all that right. Then, come over here for me. To the piano. I'm going to have you stand this way, this in the background. Yeah, thanks. Right there is good. Yeah, just hang on to that. I think it's good. Yeah, just like that. And then flowers. Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Want me to move this over, Dad?
I think put your jacket up. Jacket up. And I think we should lose the flowers because they feel a little.
We'll bring them to you.
Don't worry, Elsie.
Yeah, and stand with one shoulder towards me. Yeah, like that. And then, yeah, hand in the pocket. Yeah, that's great. Perfect. Just
Dad, watch out. You're going to pull this thing over.
thank you. And look back where my elbow's pointing that way. Yeah. So you can turn your head that way.
Oh, wait.
So you're kind of looking towards, yeah. Now look back towards me. Yeah. Come in a little closer. Right at the camera. And what have you liked about shelter in place so far?
I like He's singing opera over there.
Good time. Always good.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
We're getting close, Elf.
Yeah, it's about to tip over.
And then why don't you kind of get down low, maybe even real, and I'm going to get, yeah, like that. Might not work. try to push that plant out of the way. Yeah. So, get these guys.
Of course, it's gonna fall.
Guys kind of filling up your eyes. Okay. Just like that. Come in close to them. Look right back.
It looks like it's gonna rain. I want to.
And yeah, just hold that just for a second. Just hold that just for a second. Okay. All right, so now we're going to walk back and do a couple more of Elsie up here, and I think we'll be done. So we've had, not yet, Elsie. Stay there, stay
Your
there.
eyes look really green.
Good. Let me just tighten this stuff down, make sure we're all locked down here.
Did you want me to carry that?
Sure.
You can carry the camera.
Sophie, let me get a picture of you right here.
With this?
Yeah.
Let's see if it loads. Oh,
Elsie, wait, hang on, because you're going to tip over. Hold on a second.
uh-oh.
Come off this. I'll
Don't step on the camera, Annie.
It got in a little gopher hole there. Now go back up. And then maybe I'll have you guys take a picture of me with Elsie once I get one more.
Ooh,
Come a little closer to me here.
I'm gonna watch them. So.
Okay, Elsie, just like that. Okay, now look towards me, Elsie. Look towards me. What is your favorite stuffed animal?
Lemon ring.
Yeah. Okay, now put your hands on your knee like you had them. Your knee. No, just both out front. And now think about none of you. Close your eyes. Think about none of you wormies. Look back towards me. Yeah. How'd that one turn out? Any good?
Elsie, maybe you could try smiling with your eyes a little.
Here, wait. I'll stay
You know what I
right
mean?
there for
Like
a second.
raising your eyebrows.
Stay there, Elsie, just for a minute.
I love that. Just like,
I don't know.
she's so cool.
Okay, and you stand right here. You take a picture of Elsie now.
Take a picture of me.
Just kind of compose it, and then
No, it's a little blurry.
okay.
How do I not make it blurry?
Push the button halfway down to focus.
Oh, that's really blurry.
That little box will illuminate.
I don't know.
You can get less sun if you go in our shadow. Yeah.
This is just like silhouettes here.
Yes, else. Stay up there for one more picture. Try one more.
Are you videoing?
I am.
I was kind of lost.
Is it kind of too so? I might have had the settings wrong for you. Okay, just like that, else like that. Just stay right there.
I think I was just doing it wrong. I think so too.
Now, quick, say just like you were. Hands down, hands down. We're almost done, and I'll give you a push on the tire swing. Hands down, just like that. Stay like that. Yeah, just like that. Stay there, really.
What?
Okay, wait. Look towards me, else. Look towards me, just like that. All right. Okay, you guys. I think we have officially finished that, which is so fun. Let's go give Elsie a push on the tire swing, and
It's on the stool over there. I'll get it.
Okay,
Annie can get it. I'll
I'm
grab the computer.
filming, so.
And then Sophie, you follow us back inside, and then we're going to talk about how we can edit these pictures like this. We're going to go this way, and give you a push from the tire. Alrighty.
I got the bouquet out. Anybody want?
All right, I'll see you sit down on there.
Just you. It'll go higher.
We're gonna do a quick push on the tires for you guys, and then we're going to say thanks to the wonderful kids for helping me out, and then we're going to do some Lightroom work. So, Elsie, are you ready?
Yeah.
Here goes the biggest push ever. Are you sure you're ready?
Uh-oh.
1, 2, 3.
Dad.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Elsie, if you fall off, you know the rule. Land on the trampoline. Okay, land on the trampoline. If you fall, here we go. Ready? All right, I'll grab the camera. Thank you. Okay, let's see if I can.
Underneath you.
Okay, Sophie, big thank you to you. Say goodbye to everyone.
Bye.
Elsie, say goodbye. Annie, say goodbye. Thank you. All right, back into the cabin. And thank you guys for following along with that. Hopefully it was fun to watch. And what I'm going to do is head to the computer with my camera where we had it before and talk a little bit about what we did and then also bring some images into Lightroom. So part of that shoot, you could see it was pretty natural. There wasn't a ton of talking. I was trying to keep the flow going and keep it sort of light. I always let kids make silly expressions because I know that's an essential part of photographing kids. They feel confined if you force them too much to do all the cute poses. And then it didn't totally work, but often I try to get people to give feedback. And so what I'll say is, I'll say, hey, one of a family member, I'll say, well, what do you appreciate about this person? They were all a little bit goofy because they were on camera, but sometimes you can get some really sweet and tender moments doing that. So let me jump to my computer here, and it'll take me just a second to make sure I have these images, and I want to open them up inside of Lightroom. And the reason why I want to do that is to kind of go through that whole process. I'm just going to add these of what that looks like. I'll just bring those in. And with family photography, one of the compliments I got once from Dad, who's this really tough guy, really strong, and he said, you know, when we were doing the shoot, I didn't quite feel like you knew what you were doing, but then afterwards I loved the results. And I always appreciated that because I think what he was saying is it was natural, it was organic, it wasn't like super controlled. Everyone didn't have to wear jeans and a white t-shirt. I like style to a little bit more organic and natural. And when you are going to photograph your kids, if you're interested in doing this in this time when we are sheltering in place, whether it's your kids, a family member, a dad, a brother, whatever it is, I always find it works to select a specific time. So my kids knew what time this was going to happen so that they were ready. I reminded them throughout the day and then limit the time. I might have gone a little bit too long with this one, but trying to keep it short often leads to better results. All right, so jumping to Lightroom here really quickly, let me just go into what we have, maybe some of our first shots on the screen. Now this overcast light does a lot for colors, and you noticed a lot when I was shooting that I would ask my daughters to turn away, and I do this with celebrities, with my kids, with anyone, and really what that's about is taking a break with the eyes and not having to stare the whole time at each other. So just giving her a chance to take a break. Here I'm also shooting JPEG and RAW. Sometimes I'll do that because the JPEG files are good enough to send to clients when I'm shooting with this camera that's a Sony a7R IV. And I like to have it as a reference point for this purpose, so I'm just going to show just those RAW files there, so we're not looking at files in duplicate. So I love this first moment with her. It feels natural, organic, real. That's a keeper. I'm going to tap 1 on the keyboard to say that I like that image. I tend to keep my star ratings pretty low. So again, 1-star rating for that one. This one, it didn't work because she's kind of hunched over, her back's hunched. And what I often do with posing is ask my subjects to point their feet or their shoulders or their knees somewhere. If I have to point my shoulders this way, my whole body turns that way, and then I can get them to look back. And so that can be an easy way. In this case, I like the knee point that way, but it didn't work because of the slouch. And so I changed it, and then eventually I brought in a sister. Sometimes getting a hug from someone you care about can really help. So far, that picture I like, so I'll give it a 1 star. But these aren't, the most amazing photographs ever, but they're getting me somewhere. Remember, process. This is a great process photograph. I actually love this because this is so Elsie. Here she is in all her glory. I wish I was stuck a little further back. Her toes cut off in the bottom there. Oh yeah, I got one with her toe. That's nice. But it was more fun with her tongue sticking out. And then I said hands on the hips. And often with kids, I don't want to do too much in regards to posing. So you saw it was hands on the hips, or turn a shoulder, or stand on the ladder. And I just let them kind of figure out how they would naturally do that. Maybe lift the leg here, or do something down there. I'm really trying to get their personality in the shots. Love these 2 sisters here. The closeness that they have developed over this time as we're sheltering in place has been amazing. Love the singularity of this, just her by herself, simple wooden ladder. Again, this was a ladder I think someone was throwing away. I'm always looking for little things like that that can help anchor people. If you don't have ladders or stools or rocks or anything, just give them something to stand near or next to or touch. If I was just in the field, I might say, like, grab a flower, hold the flower. And just holding something makes you feel connected, makes you feel anchored. But if you're just sort of standing there not knowing what to do, it becomes awkward. So even if you don't need something in the photograph, like, let's say they play the ukulele, just say, like, well, play something on the ukulele, and then set it down or hold it next to you. I mean, you can get some interesting photographs. And they can play with that object like this. I might feel a little more natural doing that. And then you can set it down and get the photograph that you want to get. So that's why I'm using the ladder in this case in the field. And we haven't shot photographs out here, all 3 of them ever. So this was a first to do that. It's a great time to practice photography. Looking off in the distance is the eye break, as I talked about here, like that. And I'm looking for, also in this case, it was an eye break, but I was trying to find where the light was coming. This actually might work. You can see this side of my face is dark, this is bright. But then I got her to turn towards the sun. Then I found, okay, I need to rearrange myself. I need to get more of that sunlight. So I'll give that one a 1-star rating. I rearranged myself here. The critique is her posture isn't as good, right? That angle is so much better. What I should have done is turn the ladder. And, I was thinking about it a lot. But if I just turn that ladder this way, the light on her face, the colors, everything, it's so good. Also, I should say, if you don't have a field, just shrubs work well. If you have some bushes in the background or trees or anything, natural stuff usually works really well when you're photographing family and kids. So it's worth trying. And then in this case, just letting it sort of, the background go out of focus into nothing and really focusing on her. And what kids tend to do when they're being photographed is they exaggerate, just like we all do. When I tend to be photographed, my kids tell me I get too serious. I try to be cool, look kind of like I'm frustrated. Kids often, depending on their personality, act a little bit over goofy. And so that's what she's doing, but we have to let her do that because, like, right there, that's a gem of a photograph. I love that. I love her toothless grin, just one more tooth that's about to come out. I love that I captured that. So precious and meaningful to me. Love that the light in her eyes. Let me zoom in on this so you guys can see what I'm talking about. You can see how there's that sky. Let me see if I can go even further because I don't know how well you guys can see this screen. You can see how the sky there is just that catch light in the top of her eye. And so I'm loving that. I love the even soft light, a little bit of shadow under her chin because it's that light that's coming down. It's like it's a little bit coming from above, and it's a beautiful, beautiful look. And that's basically shooting near the end of the day, or in this case, a little bit overcast, and just getting that face tilted up towards the light in that way. So I've added 1 star to that one as well. I also, while we were being goofy, I did try to get some that were not so goofy. Let me go quick. That's hilarious. But sometimes the funny ones that they do are better than my attempt. This is them when the sun came out, and I'm working on the backlight, trying to figure out how to shoot the backlight. It's a little bit of a rim or an edge in this one. In this case, this photo, it is one that was a good example that often with backlight, I'll need to boost shadows, I'll need to boost exposure, and then boost contrast and maybe recover a little bit of highlights. That might be a little bit overdone there. Let me try to find a better thing. And then cropping, tapping the R key and bringing that crop in, finding a little bit of a better crop. My composition was off there a little bit. But in this case, you can see how going from this to that. So just knowing that I often will lose detail and highlights, that's okay. But knowing that I can boost those shadows in here, so I have, I'm able to bring up these images in this way. Now, this one, I love it. Again, how would I process it? Shadows come up, overall exposure comes up, give it a little snap of contrast. Highlights, we don't want them to be so hot that or so bright that they're overdone. And then another thing that I'll do sometimes is I might get exposure close, and then I'll bring in a little spot on the face using the radial tool. So in this case, I have some presets out there that I've created and I share with people, but let me just see if I can find one that's really simple. I'll just do a brighten one, and basically all it is exposure, contrast, and shadows. But what I'm doing is I'm bringing it over the face. It's the opposite of what I need, so I tap the apostrophe key. That's the one that flips that, right? Because I want brightness on the face. And when you have presets, often they're a really good starting point, and then you modify. So here's the modification: more feather, and then collapse all those sliders down to a single slider and drop that amount, maybe 50%. Now look at the difference. Here's before, here's after. Can you see that light on her face? And so a lot of my backlight photographs, I'm going to bring that light into the face. Now if the eyes wash out, I might add a little sparkle on those. Let me just zoom in here on this. And there's a little scratch you got from the lemon tree. And what that looks like is, I also have a preset for that, but I'll just show you what it is. It's going to be over the top, so just stick with me if you don't like it at first. So I drag it out. If it's the opposite, remember, tap the apostrophe key. And so now I have that one there, and then I'll bring one over here as well. And in this case, again, I know it's over the top, but we can kind of see how I'm making the face light up in those eyes. If an adjustment's too strong, just drop the intensity of all of it. And let me show you what's in this adjustment so you can see, but I just want this. Or you could paint it in where exactly you want it, but again, just moving quickly. But basically all this one is some exposure up, contrast up, highlights down, shadows up, blacks go up a little bit, saturation up a little bit, clarity up, sharpness up, noise down. So that together I found is a really good job on eyes. If we zoom out so you can kind of see it in context, tapping the H key to hide all of that, then what we can do is we can look at this before and after, and you can see how we have the original raw capture and then the photograph after processed. Now, I think her face is a little bit too bright, so that happens a lot when I work on my images. I'm sure it never happens to you, but basically what that means is go back into there, tap the H key, and then I'm just going to go back and I'm going to decrease this a little bit more. And the reason that happens is because we get excited, right? And it looks good. And then maybe we realize, in this case I realized, it isn't balanced. So I'm going to right-click, duplicate that, bring one down to here. I'm going to brighten up her face. I want to brighten up a little bit of the lower portion of the image. Let me show you which area. Can you see that area? Just getting a little bit of that treatment. I'm just going to balance out the light here a little bit, add some more feather to that. And I'm just looking to make the subject of the picture, Elsie here, really shine. And so now I can get a little more brightness in this one. And again, I can't tell, just because it's hard. I'm talking and trying to process this, but you can kind of see that what I'm trying to do here is go from this to that, and I'm keeping that process in mind. Now, there are so many other photographs, but we're getting close to our ending time, so let me just scan through these, see if there's any others that are worth talking about, the other sisters. Sophie has a really, really tender heart, and so with her, my vision for that photograph was capture some of her fun spirit, but then also capture a couple images which are really natural. So just looking through that, trying to find this. When I am shooting in the sun like this, some of these images, love this one. Some of them are going to be soft and have that ephemeral kind of feel to it. I'm okay with that. I know that I can create something that's distinct and strong and with good details. But I want to, like, that's a better exposure right there, actually. I want to get a little bit of both, something where I have the ability to boost, like we saw before, boost up our contrast, boost up our brightness, something like that. It looks amazing, so awesome. Add some clarity. When you add clarity, you need to add vibrance, and something along those lines. Maybe a little bit too strong, like that. But you can see here what we're going for, kind of in the before and after, and bringing that out. All right, okay. A couple more things. Let me just go near the end. I know you guys already saw this, but then my oldest daughter, Annie, I loved how she was standing on that ladder. And I was wrestling. I couldn't move far enough away. I think I should have moved back farther. But I love just the sister moments. Oh, my gosh. How cute is that one, you guys? Let me just see this real quick. Love that. And maybe what I'll do is just end there, because we're really at our time, is say that it's so worth it to take the effort, even though it's awkward and requires setup, but to photograph your family, now's the time. It's a great way to practice. I encourage you to try, if you haven't tried, tethering, because what you can do is out literally in the field, like I was in, I could shoot and then see the results. You probably noticed I also brought out a couple of ProPhoto B10s, and I was going to use some lights, but then the sun came under the clouds and I decided to stick with that. But when I'm using studio lights, I love tethering, because then I can see how I'm actually doing as well, doing that check. In this case, I was more flowing. I knew the light was good and we were going for it. But it's a great way to grow, learn, and discover. And so in closing, again, I'm Chris Orwig, photographer, author, teacher. I have a new book out called Authentic Portraits. Huge thanks to the CreativeLive family and team for encouraging me to create that course years ago. There's one course on CreativeLive called Capturing Authentic Portraits, another one, Capturing Authentic Family Portraits, and now there's a book which kind of goes even deeper into the topic. And it's a real honor to be here. Thanks to Chase and the team and the guys and the crew and everyone else for helping out to make this happen. I hope that it was a little inspiring. I hope that you pick up your camera, you set up time to photograph your family and kids, and have a great rest of your evening. You find me at chrisorwig.com. See you guys later. Woo!